so I'm kind of thinking that I want to be pretty much almost 100% solid blonde on top. I don't want any bleach around the undercut portion.
The bottom. Yeah.
Yep. We'll do like the 2 with the 1 on the lower half, so that keeps it light.
Okay.
But when we've done the 100% blonde before, you know, it gets, usually you have to do 2 processes when you're painting. So my question is, can you do like all of it in foils? Can you do slices and just do it all, but put it all in foils?
I can definitely go, yes. The answer is yes, you can. I mean, that is a possibility for sure. Yeah, no, but we can definitely do that. Because even in the front, like we did last.
Yeah. Because this is what I want, like, all over.
Yep.
And I feel like when we do the baby lights with the weave, you do such a great job. It makes it so natural looking.
But it's natural, not the...
It's natural, not the pop.
Yeah.
And I never get that full brightness because those dark pieces are so dark that they hang through some of that blonde just enough that it just kind of dims it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look dim in this light, but...
Right. No, it does. No, actually, so it's called the platinum card. That's a good old Paul Mitchell back in the day teaching of, yes, so we can put those in foils and go ahead and basically do root through the scalp. Yeah. I'm sorry, scalp to the root. And then get you as light as possible, and hopefully, no second time will be needed, you know? Yeah,
because as you said before, the foils kind of allow you to control, I think, a little better.
Yeah, they are like a little oven.
A little oven, like a little lemon. So, good morning. We're just right in the middle of the consultation. So, obviously, we're doing color today, and you know, I'm just ready for more blonde.
Blonde bombshell.
Yes, that's right.
We are going to go ahead and do that, and I look forward to being able to do the. So basically in each foil, rather than weaving, I will be taking the full like slice and getting her the full, not only the saturation from the lightener, because the lightener, that's another thing, is like when you are in a foil, it controls like the amount of lightener is nice and it doesn't dry out. Okay. That's another thing that sometimes you, on the scalp, that you deal with, you know what I mean? So, and you are this time going to be keeping the sides dark. So that will immediately have that, you know. So which is in the past we've done the whole blonding.
The whole blonding, which we're not doing today.
Well, we better go get mixed up then,
Yes,
we have a bit of a project.
Yes, we do. Yay, stay tuned.
Okay, so we are gonna go nice and short on her sides. I like to do this first just so that it gives me a nice, kind of like a clean line, because we're gonna just put like basically bleach and foils. So we are gonna do a number 2, and we wanna go nice and straight to the, like a nice bold line there. Yeah. Okay. So we will go ahead and do this, and then I will go ahead and fade out to a number 1 after that. So she was enjoying that. We'll do the Schwarzkopf BlondeMe, and I am going to go ahead and do 30 in the back. Like I'm basically in the crown, you're always the darkest, so we have to. When part of me goes, well, maybe I'll do a 20 because it'll be on there longer. Then I'm kind of like, but then it's darker. So with that, that's kind of what I've decided. And I can always, like, we can always come back and go ahead and shampoo you as well. So with if the back is already done. So
it's done and ready to be out of the foil.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd much rather make sure we get enough lift rather than not enough lift, because that then that poses the next thing, which is we have to do it again. You know?
We're really trying. Single process here.
And I do think this. I do have confidence in that. You know,
Yes.
It just will be. It's just a little bit longer for the application, so that's why I did appreciate you telling me.
Yes, give your stylist a heads up.
I know. We'll have to pay attention. Only for my own note, in case that you do like it.
Yeah, do it again.
That like, I'm like, okay. But then the next time, so today's is really going to just be a little bit more complicated because you have dark and light in here. In the future, if we say we maintain this, then I'm just touching up your regrowth.
Doing the roots, right?
Yeah, that would kind of essentially what goes on. So today, because we're going to be doing a little bit of everything, that's where things get a little tricky at times, you know?
So. And yeah, that back part, I feel like I need to go up over that occipital bone again.
Yeah, no problem. I'm actually shortening a little more here.
Good.
Because I think the overlay on that, like you said, is like a little long. But yeah, so we'll take out some of that density.
Yeah, good. So 1.5. Now we're going 1.
Yeah, I found that I had a 1.5, which helps with our blending much better. So now we'll go now. This is the true one. The other one was just that little happy medium. It does help that. And you want me to just kind of keep this through the bottom and around the perimeter, friend?
You can go up. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe
It grows out so fast.
It does.
Huh?
And over the ears especially too, it starts to stick out. So yeah.
So as you can tell, it's a secret, but Sharalee is not a natural blonde. So we tried. Okay, so as you can see here, she still has some of these light ends from past. It probably wasn't her full lighting, but we just highlighted a few times, and this is where I start to really concentrate blonde, just so she gets bright enough. The biggest challenge is probably just making sure we're giving an even result. The end goal is to have her ends all light. So we're just lightly painting to not overlap. Up here's easy because she's got plenty of rebrush. So I feel like we just kind of babysit that and paint it on there a little bit. But I do see a little bit of this. Sharalee, were you doing some wild colors in this bang area here?
Yeah, you see that little tinge of something right there?
Yes.
Yeah, the little story time here is that I had purchased a conditioner color that was like burgundy. And 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know, I'm going to be going for color anyway. Let's give this a try and let's just go crazy. Let's just do something to really shock the audience. But maybe I should do a little test piece first.
Wise idea.
So I picked a piece that had blonde and it had a decent amount of dark at the root. And I'm so glad I tested it because it was not deep burgundy. It was like bright auburn. I mean, it was real pretty, but I mean, it was bold, a very bold red color. And it did not color the dark of my hair. All it colored was the blonde.
That's so funny.
And this is supposed to wash out in, I think it said 5 to 10 washes.
Oh. You should have done it one more time. It would have sealed the
I
deal.
know,
You would have
right?
been a burgundy.
I would have gotten here and Kristen would have said,
I'm like,
you've chosen your road.
Yeah,
You're
right.
going burgundy.
I don't know if we're going to be any other color for a little bit.
That's right. So there you go.
That's
Lesson
funny.
learned. Do a patch test.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. And as you can see, so we're obviously lifting. And some of these little foils like to start to slide. So we got to make sure we're sliding to the right party, not to the wrong party.
Yeah, that's right.
As you can see, these are a little hard to see, but so these have been just processing for a while. I'm just going to kind of check them out and see where they're at. I do feel like we're not going to put her under the dryer currently. We're going to just babysit these. And then what we'll do is at some point, we're going to reapply a little bit here, but I might rinse the back if that's ready first, because obviously it's taken me a while, probably over an hour to put all of these in. And we will just get to the back. We can rinse that. All by itself. Yeah.
Yep. Let the rest cook.
Yeah, exactly. Exactement. So
The goal is to still have hair.
this is true. Very much the goal. Very much.
Otherwise, we just have the chemical haircut.
Yes.
That makes the rest of your job easy, right?
Yeah, right. Well, you've already told me I didn't have to do too much on the cut, so
no, that's right.
the biggest part was by your sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you already did the biggest part.
So I am gonna not put her in the dryer. I'm going to actually sit and watch the clock at least for 30 minutes for her to like organically, because I think she might lift okay just without it. But yeah, we'll let it. That's what we're doing.
Here for our checkup.
I know. Remember you know, I've been sharing this with people lately. Inside of the banana is what we're looking for, and
right.
so many people have been like, "I never knew what you guys were looking for," but we're seeing inside of the banana.
We want
So
to peel open that skin.
Yes.
And see banana.
it's funny.
A little blue tinge
That's
banana.
right. That's right. And those look good. So let me just. Good. The same thing. It's really nice. Okay, come on over.
We've passed the test.
I know.
Let's go. Okay, we're getting toner.
We're doing a little toning. Okay, so today, you know, we're trying this whole, you know, new without having to do two double lightening. So I am going to use a little bit of, although we rinsed her and she looks really good, I've got confidence in what we got going on, I still am going to use a little bit of a double violet on her just at the roots. The ends, are probably fine. It's just more to just make sure she's good to go for the not just for today, but for the future. So we did a half an ounce of 10 and then we did a half an ounce of 9V, so a little bit. I didn't do two doubles. And then in the past, I remember we did the pearl, and we kind of really like that.
I like the pearl.
So I also added a little pearl in there, and we'll just babysit it and make sure it's to the nines, you know.
So 10B.
Yeah. So we'll do equal parts 10V. So a half ounce of 10BV, half ounce of 9V, and half ounce of 9P.
9P.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're gonna babysit this. I bet it's gonna be about 5 minutes.
Okay. Woo!
Woohoo! Might be right?
Yes, we are. Yes, I like the little lavender tint.
I know. You know? Might have a little bit of that on that first.
Right? Yes, on that first little few washes.
Yeah, so see,
it's not too bad.
No,
yeah.
I'm just glad you wear your hair down. That's all.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
If you were like a faux hockey type lady.
Going to just touch a little bit there.
Yeah, this is like we're gonna kind of root smudge on the underneath, and all this is too. It's just the foils. When you put so many foils, sometimes it becomes a little bit of a
it's impossible
to and so then they kind of start to slip, but you don't want to move everything. So we just beautiful thing. You just kind of go back and you paint this. And I'm just using kind of like her natural 5-inch. Actually, this is what we've used when we've done your root smudge.
Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at how pretty that is. You got good color.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
A little bit of root
so we
accomplished
that.
Yes. Look at that. She just skillfully just added a little bit of dark right there.
Right?
Love it.
I know, right? Kind of camouflage. It probably will lighten. This has happened before, and I noticed by the time I see you, but I cut it off like the next time.
I was going to say, it'll be cut off. This is easy. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that going forward.
I know. So yeah, we got our, bleach on the scalp look here.
Woohoo.
So what we are thinking about, you're not horrible with your length, you said?
Yeah, I'd say, so right here, I feel like this is as short as I want to be. Like, I would like to have this just a little bit longer.
Okay.
So leave that.
Okay.
Bangs though, really good trim, especially here on the corner.
Okay.
And the length overall, I feel like I'm pretty well layered in here.
Yeah.
So take up the length here.
And shall we do that cute little corner, like higher area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the higher kind of angled in. And then the back, we'll talk about the cowlick spot. Because several of you asked questions about how she cuts that, how to cut cowlicks, all of that good stuff. So,
right. We can definitely, I will do, so on here, I'm not going to go too high because I don't want you to uncover what we just did in case it fades.
Okay.
So, but we can definitely cut all through there. And then, the back here is a little long. So I just use a little of this, my little friend, the carving comb here, and I love this for my little razor detail work here. It doubles as a razor or just like a chipping out too. So I like it for the perimeter, and this has been a bit of my friend for many years. I've bought many of them through the time.
It keeps from having that blunt cut edge, right?
Yes. And they definitely can get a little too skinny and cause you to have a little funky hair, especially with lightener. So I'm actually, you can kind of
do a little bit.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Less is more.
Yes, less is more today.
Yeah. So, and then you mentioned through here we had gone a little shorter.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I think it's short enough.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just try to mimic that on the other side.
Yeah, sure. That's perfect.
We're not layering in the bangs. We always have that one.
Yeah, right here I feel like I need some layer.
Okay.
Yeah, shorter and we'll layer
just a little bit on the end. So,
and this would be, so this is another cowlick section I have for me. So how do you recommend, like if you have a cowlick in the front, what do you do different?
You need to have weight because a cowlick is always going to be there, but the heavier it's going to be, you're going to be a little more in control. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean we need a long whole piece on here, obviously. But so in other words, and in this one is a little tricky because like for her, she doesn't like them too layered. And I also, because she's so blonde, this can get a little frizzy if we go like too razory through the front. So that's why you saw me cut the front with the scissor, because it's a bold, like blunt edge. So what we found with her is we kind of take this area and I tend to cut into here. I'll do so much and then I will stop and then we'll dry her afterwards. That way we can kind of play with
how it's gonna lift and lay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so that's the bottom line. Whether the cowlick's in the back or in the front, you just kind of gotta, that is something you just look at, like, okay, what's it doing? It's popping up here now, but you see how that, and she isn't wet, but she's wetter. So if it's wet and it's popping up, that means you cut too short. It's really gonna have a mind of its own. So we just kind of look at that and go slow. You know,
a little more
keep weight, but like maybe you kind of chunk out a little bit in there, but you don't want to take it right in the center because then it's going to really enhance that. Like, kind of think of a flower, right? Like
it's going to really open.
Yes, it is. You don't
nothing to weight it down.
Exactly. So the weight is better. So that's where, as far as like for hairdressers too, a lot of times I'll ask people, did you, if they're struggling with an area, I will oftentimes be like, did you have more of a problem now or at the beginning? You know, and a lot of times that will give me a good perspective on like I went too short and that cowlick misbehaved, or currently the weight is good for it and just leave it alone. So sometimes that requires very little trimming if they're like, oh no, it's better today, you know. And then our little typical headband part, something kind of chunky.
Yeah, chunky. But yeah, it wasn't feeling like overly long. But. The bleach on the hair, the extra texture it adds, I need less root products, less root lift or volumizing products for sure.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, if there's a little extra hair there, I notice it less.
That's good. And with that, I think for people with their more natural hair, you just need something in the beginning, meaning if you're feeling a little heavy or it gets maybe heavy quicker, you know, you need to find, I do really like Kenra's 3-day memory.
Yes, the 3.
Do you use that one?
Yes, I do. The Nitro Memory Cream.
That one kind of helps get the grippiness.
Yes, it does.
And if you don't, it's a little extra. So in other words, you put it on.
Oh yeah, tiny.
Start less, build on it.
I don't even use a nickel size if you live in the U.S. Not even a nickel size of that product. And I like that one on the ends. I don't actually feel like I need it in the roots, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It does hold your style, your dried style very well.
Yeah, I have someone who has natural hair, and she in a short haircut, and she said, "Oh, I just love that, and I love it because it feels dirty, and she's super fine, so it falls quickly.
That's perfect.
So she's found a lot of luck with that one.
Little good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a favorite. Queen for a Day Bedhead is another one that adds that grippy kind of texture feel in the hair.
And I know some people are like, I hate the way my hair feels with the grippiness. I know, but the style holds better.
You can wash it every day with short hair and it's done in 5 minutes.
It's tricky. Yes.
Thank you. I like it. Good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's pretty well.
Yeah, I did do a little more layering right through here.
Yeah.
Only because it was going to be a little heavy.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And then we went a little bit shorter there. I think that feels good.
Yeah, it does. And over here, I didn't really have to do anything.
Yeah, because that was perfect. That's where I wanted to leave. So
cute.
So notes, we can do
this.
We can do it. And I mean, single process, it still took longer because they had to leave it, took time to leave it on.
Yeah, and to put it on, so I think for this situation, I could have popped your front under the dryer like I think a tiny bit, but for preservation of your hair, because you feel good, I don't want to push it too much.
Yeah.
And honestly, if someone doesn't hit those colors immediately, I know next time you're going to be just fine. So
right.
in other words, and what, maybe I'm a little like me critiquing, it's going to be honestly adding a little of the gold, I think, with your color, it's actually more complimentary.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So too. Yeah,
Here
we are, folks.
Hot stuff
What do you
right
think?
here. I like
She did
it.
an amazing job. We love the tone, everything.
I know, and we didn't have to sit here for quite as long.
Yeah, not quite as long. It was a little timer. Yeah,
we were 10 minutes short of 4.
So yes, it was almost 4 hours. But the first time I think we did this, it was close to 6.
It might have been. It was the longest we've spent time together.
Yeah. So today, we cut that down a little bit, but the hair feels really good.
I like it.
And I love it. Yeah, love it. Thank you
You're
as
welcome.
always. Thank you for keeping my hair there and giving me still the bright color
Oh,
that
we love
we
it.
want.
It's fun.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Check the description box down below for info on the salon, other hair visits, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.